Member of this club for about a semester or two, and I learned a lot. I met some great people like himself. Um, and I thought like it'd be nice to like share some of the things I learned over the years of making music. I compose and produce and play guitar for a living, and I'm based in here, Lafayette, sadly. But I'm gonna share basically the breakdown session of my latest song called Harbor City. And anybody play guitar here?
Learning.
Like anybody into like instrumental music by chance? You are? Oh, sick. Yeah, it's like a progressive rock meets like fusion type of thing. So I'm gonna break down some of the things that I did on the session that might be helpful for you guys to know. Okay, thank you. It's a little long, but there's a lot of ideas, and therefore there needed to be a lot of movements during the mix session as well. I didn't play the drums, I didn't play the bass, but everything else is me except for the mastering. Okay, so on the mix session itself, let me go over, I have to look at my schedule thing. Starting at the 2 bus. So as you can see, during the intro section, it's a lot quieter. It's like 0.8 dB lower than the reference volume, which was like during the chorus or the main theme section, which I built back up here. So when you build here, the song kind of like lifts up a little bit, and you can totally do that with the 2 bus automation. And then during this part here, if you remember, right, you have to like kind of quiet down. So when it hits the second main theme, it feels like it's getting bigger again, you know. So sometimes you have to make things not as hard hitting in order to make your hard hitting parts like sound better. So I sometimes make like the verses like not sounding like as good, so that the choruses hit better. So that's one of the things that you guys can think about. So that's that. Oh, shut up. And then this guy is probably that part again. I brought the fader back down. And then the second half I brought like 0.3 dB up so that it builds again. These are all very subtle movements that you guys can do, but because you're moving the entire mix like up and down, it's actually pretty drastic like in the grand scheme of things. It's not like you're just automating 0.3 dB of one element. It's like entire mixes going up and down. And especially like everything's happening after the insert. So it's after my bus compression. So back here, like I'm bringing even like a dB up from the reference volume, and that's the section, like a really big section. If you're gonna play that section. So when you're going from here to here, it hits really hard. Right? And one thing to remember is that when you get the mix to the mastering engineer, or even if you're mastering yourself, all these different dynamics that you've created, it's gonna get squished again, because in the mastering stage, it's gonna get limited and like get all kinds of different saturations and whatnot. So just kind of have that in mind when you're mixing. Don't be afraid to take like big leaps in terms of making moves and putting those dynamics back up. But basically all these 2 bus or the mix bus volume automations that you see is me kind of thinking as a more like a conductor, like when you want to get louder, when you want to get quieter and stuff like that. So that's something that you can do in the entire mix bus.